Nick, we're just looking at these images here because, of course, they are really reflecting people's deep alarm and deep concern about the fact that the Queen is extremely unwell, and of course that we are expecting the news from Balmoral that she's having treatment, or that indeed they are unable to help Her Majesty anymore. A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Palace has just issued this statement. It says the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow.
This is BBC News. We're interrupting our schedules for the following announcement. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
We have some very important news. Buckingham Palace has just announced that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died. She was 96 years old. The Queen died just a few moments ago, the announcements at Balmoral. She was the longest reigning monarch in British history and the world's oldest head of state.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Nora O'Donnell in our nation's capital, and we have breaking news from the United Kingdom, where we have just learned the sad news that Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-serving British monarch, died today at Balmoral Castle. That is her summer home in Scotland.
Sir Keir Starmer saying shortly after, similarly, that his thoughts were with...
Yes, Layla, thank you very much indeed. We'll end that interview there. That's Layla Nathu, our political correspondent.
You are listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. It is just after 6:30. We are interrupting our normal programme to bring you some very important news. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This news just coming into us.
Yes, the Palace hasn't yet given any further details of the circumstances surrounding the Queen's death. However, we are expecting a statement to be released shortly. Just to repeat that news, then, we are now interrupting our normal programming to bring you the very important news that Buckingham Palace has just announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Good day, everyone. We're coming on the air with some sad breaking news. Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, has died at the age of 96.
Shepard Smith at CBC Global Headquarters. We interrupt regular programming to announce that the Royal Palace has just informed Great Britain's Queen Elizabeth II has died. The quiet woman who dedicated her life to service and duty, the only leader in place since the end of World War II, the most photographed woman on the planet, died today at her summer home in Balmoral, Scotland. She was 96 years old.
This is Capital. It's 6:34, and now a special news report.
From Global's newsroom in London. Buckingham Palace has confirmed Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died. She was 96 years old. Our reporter, Simon Conway, looks back at her life.
And I'm afraid to say in the last few moments, the following statement has been released. It reads, I will find that statement for you. The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. So let's take a moment to reflect on that news.
Johnny, thank you. We have just had news within the last few seconds from Buckingham Palace announcing the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. She was 96 years old. So far the palace has not given any further details, but this is the news that we've had, news of enormous significance for the entire country and indeed beyond our borders as well, that the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I want to go straight to London. I want to bring in CNN Royal correspondent Max Foster outside Buckingham Palace. Max, what are you learning?
The Queen has died, very sadly. She died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen Consort were referenced there to Charles. He automatically becomes King, will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. I'm just going to look at another email I just received, if there's any extra there. No, the Queen has died, and long live the King.
This is News Talk ZB Breaking News.
Morning, if you're just joining us. The breaking news, if you are just waking up this morning, the Queen has died peacefully at Balmoral Castle, aged 96.
Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest-serving monarch, has died overnight at the age of 96.
I'm sorry, let me stop right now because we do have this breaking news just coming in from Buckingham Palace. Queen Elizabeth II has died just hours after her doctors said they were concerned for her health.
The Queen has passed away. The Queen died peacefully, the royal family says, at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died.
The BBC is interrupting its normal programmes to bring you an important announcement. This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. In a statement, the palace said the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow.
Rising tennis stars Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner have produced a mesmerising battle in the quarterfinals of the US Open. Spanish teenager Alcaraz clinched a 5-set victory over Sinner at 2:50 a.m. New York time after 5 hours and 15 minutes of thrilling tennis. The 19-year-old saved a match point in the fourth set and came from a breakdown in the decider to reach his first Grand Slam semi-final.
Kua hinga te tōtara I te wao nui a Tāne. The tōtara has fallen in the great forest of Tāne. It is with great sadness that we interrupt our program to tell you that Queen Elizabeth II has passed away. She was 96 years of age and was our longest ever serving monarch. Buckingham Palace released a statement a short time ago saying the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow.
Watching this, you'll see that the flag over Buckingham Palace has been lowered to symbolise the Queen's death. I don't know quite what to say. I mean, this was the news we were dreading.
Very sad day indeed at the Queen dying at age 96. Mike Hosking, nobody loves the Queen more than you and I.
Oh, don't.
It's very upsetting, isn't it? We're royalists, aren't we? I mean, it's end of an era.
I don't know that I don't. Just give me a couple of minutes.
No worries. Yeah, I mean, I think it's shocking for a lot of people. It's a very upsetting thing to hear.
This is Today FM breaking news.
Rachel, I've got something in front of me here from the newsroom if you'd like me to read it.
Indeed,
Have you got something yourself?
In breaking news, we can confirm the Queen Elizabeth, has died.
It is with sadness we inform you of the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Buckingham Palace has just confirmed Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96. Interrupting normal programming for continued rolling coverage of the life and legacy of the Queen, the world's longest reigning monarch.
Devastating news out of Balmoral, Scotland today. Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, born third in line to the throne, but after a royal scandal, an abdication and her father's death, she was crowned Queen at Westminster Abbey in 1953. Europe correspondent Daniel Faitawa looks back at the remarkable life of the monarch.